What's Sports? Hi there, and welcome to What's Sports on Dino After Dark. Well, with real sports starting to loosen up restrictions, the summer fun starting around me, plus a couple of personal projects I'd like to get back to, this will be the last episode of What's Sports? And what a better round even number to end on than 17, right? So we're going to do one last Throwback Thursday to my days as a radio reporter covering Cleveland Browns, real sports. I picked out a couple of my favorite players or interview segments, and we're going to listen to those now. We'll start with a guy who ended up in the Hall of Fame, tight end Ozzie Newsome. And what are we talking about? The weather, of course.
Well, it's natural for it to snow this time of the year. I'm glad it's not, so very cold, but it snowed, and, snow normally brings out a little fun in the guys, but they'll be ready to play.
It's just that the Browns were getting off a plane in Cleveland after a week of practice in Florida. That's why we were talking about the weather. Later that week, before the Browns were to meet the Jets in the AFC Division playoff game, I caught a fired-up Kevin Mack, who started out complimenting the Jets.
We hope we can play our best because it's going to take our best effort to win on Sunday. In regards to the ground game, we don't know if we can run on Carl Meckenberger, one of the finest linebackers in the league, Rulon Jones, everybody. We're lucky to be in the same game as them. Off the air, we're going to kick their motherfucking ass.
The Browns needed double overtime to kick the Jets' ass. Also at practice the day before that game, we were listening to Frank Minifield talk about being a DAWG dog.
It's like a rallying point for the defense. When the game start getting to nut-cutting time, adversity is starting to happen to us, something bad took place, the offense gave the ball away or something like that, it's a rallying point. And it's just a way to put everybody on the same page and to let everybody know that it's time to play football. Give me one for you.
I love how the entire locker room quieted down when he did that. And last but not least was one of my favorite guys to interview, Big Daddy Carl Hairston, who really liked my belt buckle.
Somebody told me that the Browns can't win the big one. What would you have said to him?
Nothing. I just looked at him and laughed, and because I understand that if he's a Browns fan, he's frustrated. But I know that as a Browns player, I can't get frustrated, because I got to come in and prepare to get this thing done. And I've heard that before, and I shrug it off because I know that it's a lot of fans frustrated around Cleveland, and we as players have to respect that and say, hey, we just got to wait till next season. Now we get it done.
I was not kidding about the belt buckle. It was a cool Browns helmet belt buckle that I had worn on a leather belt for many years. And years later, after I was done being a reporter, I ran into Big Daddy at a home and flower show, and he asked me about the belt. So he really, really did like it. Okay, time to go on location. Standing here in the beautiful Lake Metro Park's Chapin Forest Reservation, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to race a football, a softball, and this basketball that I won from Cedar Point 3 decades ago, down a couple of trails. The first one here, this trail behind me, let's see what happens.
So we figured we would do a best of 3 on 3 different surfaces, giving Karen and I a nice day driving around Northeast Ohio, searching for those places. We had to find paths of little resistance. We had already failed at one of Sophia's sled riding hills because the grass was too long. So with Karen as our official scorekeeper looking on, we ran our first race. Race number 1 at Chapin Forest wasn't even close. The softball crossed our jumper cable finish line first, the basketball received a DNF after hitting Karen in the ankle, and the football? Race number 2 was at the Geneva on the Lake golf course, running down the hill back to the first tee along the fairway. This one was much closer, with the softball staying in first, the basketball a close second, and the football. We decided on some underbrush and a steep hill for race number 3 at the Metro Parks by Harpersfield Dam, featured on a couple other What Sports episodes. This one was a photo finish, barely captured, but it's there with our softball first, the basketball second, and the football. So the softball scored all 3 victories. The basketball came in a respectable second, and the football?
Yeah, we also ended up at 2 other Metro Parks that day looking for racing surfaces, and it was a nice day. Okay, time for the final slow motion replay of the day. Well, with the sunset from the other night behind me, I'll say that I hope you enjoyed these 17 episodes of What Sports. Just remember, you get what you paid for. And also, don't worry, I like amusing myself more than others sometimes. So, thanks for watching, and cheers. And by the way, this is just another Frankie V production.